Welcome to Let's Play Star Wars, a galaxy of tabletop atomic mass game. Seated to her right is Sherry Anisi, who is the licensing manager for Asmodee North America. Seated to Sherry's right is Tony Finke, who is a senior game designer for Fantasy Flight Games. Seated to his right, and I haven't said this in like 2.5, 3 years now, is the man with the coolest office at Lucasfilm, Senior Manager of Product Development, Mr. Brian Murray. Of Product Development, Mr. Brian Murray.
With the coolest hair.
Yeah.
With the coolest hair.
Yeah.
I don't know, I've seen a lot of walks this week, and a lot of them look way better than mine. So let's talk Star Wars and Star Wars games.
Woo!
So, that's what we're talking about first. It's been a minute. So I would like to start with really talking about the partnership between Lucasfilm and Asmodee North America, as we all really strive to make sure that every Star Wars game that's produced by the company is extremely faithful to the Star Wars galaxy, so that no matter what kind of game you're playing, it feels like Star Wars and that you have a really good time doing it. Helps when you have Lucasfilm help, and as I said, that comes in the form of Brian Merton. And we're going to start with him. Brian, can you tell us a little bit more about your role at Lucasfilm?
I suppose what I do is ultimately approve or render a resubmission to things that I don't like. Fortunately, the Asmodee team, the Atomic Mass team, everybody, the fans, like all the studios that work so hard to bring the games there, it's full of passion. It's full of people who really enjoy Star Wars and bringing an authentic experience to all their fans out there.
All right.
And you hinted a little bit at it when you were talking about product. Could you speak a little bit more to exactly how you work with everyone at Asmodee in order to ensure that kind of stuff?
Well, normally what will happen is they'll go through a normal process of they'll pitch a game and we'll collectively look at it. The team, myself, my supervisor, Chris Collar, who's awesome, who's sitting out there, so I had to say that. Then we'll go through a conceptual stage and we'll start evaluating, what's the game going to look like, what's the art going to look like, what kind of style. We'll start, if there's sculpted pieces, we'll talk about sculpted pieces, getting movement and authenticity into them so they can definitely render an authentic experience. That seems to be my word of the whole thing. It's funny, authenticity means so many different things to different people, where I have other licensees that do prop replicas, so that's a very different type of authenticity that you guys do, where you're an authenticity of experience, and that really is the crux of what I try and make sure is delivered.
So you're essentially a living, breathing certificate of authenticity.
Got a big stamp that says resubmit. I took it home from my office during the
It makes it feel more like home. And of course, you work very closely with Sherry over at the end of the table, who is again the licensing manager. So, Sherry, can you describe what it's like at Asmodee working with Brian and overseeing? The word escapes me, maybe authenticity.
And remember that I'm sitting right here.
Yeah, working with Brian is really great. Very easy to work with. But speaking to the authenticity, that's definitely something that I look for as well. I work closely with the studios and review all of their items even before it gets to Brian, because Star Wars is important and it's important to get it, I guess.
Authentic.
Authentic, yeah. I'm sorry not to overuse that word.
Oh no, that's going to get annoying very And then, Simone, before you moved over to Atomic Mass Games, you were actually the licensing head honcho within Asmodee.
I was sharing. I have kind of an opposite Vader and Obi-Wan. She was the learner, and now that you're the master, I'm the associate.
And Sharon did not even have to kill someone.
Does listening to Brian and Sherry talk about their experiences bring back anything for you? Would you agree with their description?
No, we're totally not authentic. There's a lot of going back and forth. There's a lot of just really getting deep into the weeds about all of these things, and a lot of snarky Brian, which I just have to get clear in the beginning.
I think that's going to be very clear by the time the panel. So yeah, let's go ahead and start talking about some of those games and then how this process manifests itself in the games that everyone plays. But before we do, I would really love this to be a lively panel, and I want everyone to have fun. So I'm going to start by asking for 3 younglings in the crowd to jump up, please. I know you're out there.
Go, Chris! Woo! There we go.
All right, I got one right here. The lights are super bright in my face. All right, let's do this. So the first 3 younglings who can come up this way, don't run fire hazard or whatnot.
Okay, we got one.
Thank you.
We got somebody in the cheap seats. Come on down. We got 2. And who else? Any Padawans that want to be a part of this? We got 2. Come on.
Over here.
Is there a third?
Right here.
Is there a third?
This one right here.
He's a big
He's a big guy.
Don't force your kids to do this. We don't want to have a panic attack. Any other volunteers? You got one?
16.
You're 16.
16.
Okay. Well, it looks like he's 25. Anybody else want to try for this? Any other Padawans out there who want to try? Any brave ones? Sorry. That one's like 1, so probably
You know
not.
what? That works. Let's go ahead.
2. You want to get a 16-year-old?
No, I was thinking the 1-year-old can walk up too.
With the mom?
But yeah, if the mom can come up, we can do that too.
Nice.
You were all
Is
the
this gonna
fortunate
happen?
winners of Spotted the Mandalorian.
Like you said, they have one copy of Spotted the Mandalorian. Spotted is a game of speed and observation for the whole family. What's the name of the game? Thanks for asking. Each of the cards have one symbol in common. Be the first to find and name it to win the card. This new version of Spotted combines emblematic characters and objects from the series The Mandalorian with this beloved family game.
Thank you.
Well, kids, you can return. Thank you so much.
So, Spotted the Mandalorian. After that lovely description by Tyler, Sherry, can you talk about the kind of consideration that goes into the art of Spotted?
Yeah, so depending on, for any spotted game, depending on the number of cards, we kind of have to narrow 30 to 60 symbols for the gameplay. And with the Mandalorian theme, we really focused on finding recognizable parts of the Mandalorian and what was out, and making them adorable in emoji style. And the studio did a lot on the art themselves.
So Brian, you work with a lot of different Star Wars products, not just games, but everything from action figures to costumes and things like that. This is, in my opinion, a very unique product in Star Wars. What was your reaction when you first saw the art from this come across your desk?
Simplicity is hard in design. It's really hard to get things to look different from one another and maintain the simplicity and the style of the whole thing. I had a few comments, I believe, but my recollection is that everything was pretty good. I was pretty happy. Sticky comment.
Which is your favorite?
You're my favorite.
If our relationship become public like this.
What happens in panel stays in panel.
Let's move on to our next game, which is Star Wars Rory's Story Cubes. For this one, the announcer can help us again. We're looking for some Padawans that are a little bit older, so the 16-year-old who looks 25. This is your.
Hey, 16-year-old is 25. Okay, come on down, sir. I'm actually waving my button because I felt bad. Okay, come on down. Okay, so do we need more than one? Two more. Ooh, so like 20? Who's that in that row? Whoever's raising it, stand up. Whoever's in that. 45! Okay, so we got one there, and then there, yeah, whoever's back there. Right here, you with the hat, come on down, and then the one over there. You guys are like raising your hands on that row. Whoever, you have somebody? Perfect. We got 3 so far. Okay, here we go.
Thank you. You have all won a copy of Star Wars Rory's Story Cubes. Tyler, tell them what they won.
Well, Justin, they've won Rory's Story Cubes. Imagine watching your favorite Star Wars adventure, but it ends on a cliffhanger. With Rory's Story Cubes, roll 9 dice, look at the images, and fly into hyperspace, crafting your very own adventures.
All right, congratulations, you got your back your seats.
So we were talking about art for Spot the Mandalorian. So Brian and Sherry, what kind of consideration went into this art?
This comes back to simplicity again, simplifying things that are usually more detailed and trying to fit it on a very tiny document and etched in. And Simone was had a lot of part in the manufacturing side of that and how you can do it.
And kind of figuring out how you can recognize these characters very quickly when you're small, but still like get those dice to print and all those little lines on those eyebrows and all that. Just to make sure that all really comes out was an incredible challenge, and we went through kind of many iterations. Like Brian said, the simplicity is really hard.
That was a lot. This one was a lot harder than Spotted. The images are really, really small. Rory's Story kind of had its own style. So what we had to do is make the images recognizable within that. The rules, the design rules that had already been set by Rory. It was very, very difficult.
Sherry and I actually started by writing the story on the back. And then kind of working kind of from there around that.
How did you decide which characters to include?
By making my own Rory Story Star Wars adventure, Justin Bolger.
Were you biased at all in who you included?
There's a Lando Calrissian in there.
Let's move on to Star Wars Unlocked really briefly. I'm looking for 3 more people to take home a copy of this game.
Ooh, boy. What are the
This one is 10 plus.
10 plus? Where was that 45-year-old? 45-year-old, come on down. Very good. You young lady right here. Yes, you. Me? Yes, you. And then, you know what? I'm gonna get you, young man in the black shirt. Come on down, okay? We got a whole variety of kids here.
Awesome.
Okay.
If you all want to step again to the right side of the stage,
Right over there.
give you the prize that you just won as Tyler tells you again what you won.
All right, Justin. Star Wars Unlock is a cooperative card game inspired by escape rooms. Play as rebels, smugglers, or Imperial agents as you search locations, combine items, use ships and weapons, all in these free 60-minute adventures.
Thanks, Tyler. So, this is an escape room in a box, which is a novel concept to me. I'm curious, Ryan, what was your first thought when you heard that they wanted to do a Star Wars escape room within this one?
It's actually pretty exciting because we've never seen anything, well, I've certainly never seen anything like this in Star Wars before, and the puzzle solving aspect of this and the storytelling aspect of this, the authenticity thing, it was really hard to get to find something that was open-ended enough and genuine enough to feel Star Wars and be open-ended enough to be fun. It's one of my favorite games. I love this one.
Were there any challenges in creating this? So Sherry, Brian, Simone, what kind of challenges did you run into in actually putting an escape room in a box?
So kind of on the development side of the game, so this is an escape room, and escape rooms have very similar, like you have to open this lock, you have to figure out how to open this door, you've got to find this hidden thing. And figuring out how those mechanically would happen in Star Wars, like, oh, you're not using regular keys anymore, you're figuring out how to do it all with codes, you're figuring out just different ways. Escape rooms are hard enough to figure out in our world. They're incredibly difficult with the technology of Star Wars. And then also just making these all feel different. Each of those scenarios feels super different. And those are kind of our biggest challenges, besides the art stuff, which I'm sure Sherry's going to talk about.
Yeah, part of the challenge with the art is trying to hide puzzles and numbers and different codes within the art itself and have it flow seamlessly with the Star Wars backdrop.
I think you achieved it. It's a fun game. Let's move on to Jabba's Palace, which is one of the Z-Man games. Wow, we got like, who's that? Because you're going to win this game.
Wait, let's make a game out of this. So, who of you guys can do the best Java impersonation? Alright, here it goes, here it goes. Let me hear it. Here. You all say no? No, here. Right here, okay, sir. Let me hear your Java impersonation. Oh yeah, we got some Java impersonators right here. Okay, who? Okay, where is it? And then one of the guys who didn't want to get it. Okay,
David, go!
yeah.
Go.
Okay, wait. I'm looking for somebody specifically whose birthday is on May the 4th. Do we have anybody?
I heard a whistle.
That's okay, write down, call that anniversary. So this guy, it's your birthday on May the 4th? 1966, he says. Congratulations.
Woo!
Take it away.
So we're still talking about games that are very accessible to audiences who may not be super into what is considered, I guess, expert level tabletop gaming. Jabba's Palace is a love letter game, and when I hear the word love letter, I don't necessarily think of Jabba the Hutt first. Where did the idea to do a love letter game with this specific character and setting come from?
That's a good question. So for this one, it was actually fairly easy to apply the Star Wars to it because the mechanics existed, and with some small tweaks, you could contain the experience of being a Jabba's Throne in a game.
And so, Brian, again, those two words, Jabba's Palace and love letter, don't necessarily go together in the head. When you heard about this game, what was your initial reaction?
Oh, my initial, I was familiar with Love Letter and the combination of the two. I knew what Love Letter was, so in my mind, it was an easy fit. Actually, I just played this game with a friend down in your booth about 20 minutes ago.
It sounds like it was an easy development process then.
This one was easy. I don't want to take away anything from game designers and all the effort that goes into this. From where I sat, this one looked easy, or it was easy for me.
All right.
Okay, you guys can head back.
Thank you.
Follow-up question. Can you be part of Jabba's band? Is that in there?
No, it is not.
You need that version too, then. Okay.
All right, now we're going to kind of move away from the more easy to learn or general games into some that are a little bit more not as fun as these ones, starting with my first question here is, Tony Fancy, can you tell us about Outer Rim? It sounds like everyone already knows what it is. For those in the crowd who don't know, would you mind describing the game?
Yeah, so Outer Rim puts you in the shoes of some of the bounty hunters, smugglers, and other ne'er-do-wells of the Star Wars galaxy. You're flying around the Outer Rim with your aim to be the most famous or infamous person in the Outer Rim. You're going to do that.
That was not me.
You're going to do that by hunting bounties, fighting patrols, and delivering cargo, illegal cargo, to various planets across the Outer Rim.
All right.
This is, as I said, the first game that's a little bit more involved that we've been talking about. It's the oldest one so far with 14 plus. Sherry and Brian and Simone, can you speak a little bit to what kind of consideration goes into setting the difficulty level or really starting to produce a game like this as compared to some of the more general games? And then Tony, I'd love to know what thought you put into the game to raise the level but not necessarily make it outside of the reach of people who might want to play.
So I'd say this is the opposite of a simple game. We have to take a much deeper dive into Star Wars lore, which comes with a lot more complexity. And part of my job is to vet all of the characters and items and everything that's going into the game to make sure it has the right Star Wars feel.
Yeah. Right.
No, I was just going to say, and check the Aramesh, because Sherry's the only
Yeah.
person I know who can actually read Aramesh.
Yeah, so from a game design perspective, when Corey and I were working on the game, the way that we made it simple for players to get into was you start with a very simple set of components. You've got your ship, you've got your character, and you've got one starting card that's either a job, a cargo, or a bounty that kind of sets you on a path with your character. And from there, you add more gear and mods to your ship and your character, and the game becomes more in-depth and more nuanced.
I also think that this is the first game we're talking about that has one core set and then additional expansion, and that is such a huge thing. Like, you have to take into account everything you did in the first one and kind of the stuff you're introducing in the expansions.
Exactly.
It's funny that you talk about the expansion because that's what we're talking about now. So following up on Simone's amazing segue there, can you tell us a little bit about what Unfinished Business is and how it adds to the Outer Rim experience?
Yeah, Unfinished Business is the first expansion for Star Wars Outer Rim. In this game, in this expansion, we wanted to give you a lot more of the content that you love. So this expansion basically doubles the number of cards in the game. It also adds new gameplay elements, including the new core world spaces. So we've replaced the end caps on the map so that now on the semicircular map, you can go from one end to the other without having to take the long way around. We also wanted to increase the player interaction involved in the game, and so we introduced the optional rule of having favors. Favors are things that you can ask for from other players, whether that's borrowing one of their skills or getting some combat advice so that you roll an extra die in combat. Now, why would you want to help out one of your opponents? Well, because you can ask them to pay you some credits, or you can demand that they give you their debt token. And a debt token is a new component that when you return it to them on a future turn, you are guaranteed to get a favor of your choice. So you can offer them a very not important favor up front for a crucial favor down the line.
Candace Nelson, who manages marketing for Fantasy Flight Games, is right there and is going to be angry that I pointed her out. Oh, but she's still curious as to, can you talk a little bit about the process of taking a game that is that popular and figuring out what to add to it and how to make those particular mechanics work with something that already exists?
Yeah, so it's always great to put out an expansion really fast so that the fans can get it, but from the development standpoint, we always love to have a chance to actually see the game out in the public so that we can get an idea of what kind of things we need to improve on in the game, what things we can smooth out, whether there are any balance issues that we need to address. So having I think it was like a year and a half that the game was out before we worked on the expansion, to see the public reaction and see what the people were demanding more of was great in giving us some idea of what direction we wanted to go. So a couple of things that we wanted to address is we wanted to make sure that there was more player interaction, because a lot of players were asking for more of that.
More nefarious banter.
Yes, more backstabbing ability, yeah, more negotiation. We also noted that the end game could be kind of abrupt, and so in the expansion, a new element that we've added are ambitions. These are a new sheet that you'll have at the start of the game, and that lists a number of objectives that you have to accomplish over the course of the game, including a very exciting final objective that you will have at the end of the game that makes sure that you don't see who's going to be winning the game from several turns ahead.
Nice. You clearly love the game. It comes across when you're talking about it, you light up and you get really into what you're saying. Is there any part of unfinished business that you're particularly proud of being able to add to out of it?
Oh, that's a hard question. Everything in this expansion I think is awesome. I love the new characters. I love the new ambitions. I think everybody who's really enjoyed the base game but has been hungry for more, you're gonna get it in this expansion.
And then also, unfinished business is not actually released to the public yet. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yep.
It's at our booth right now, is it not?
It is. It's also in this very room where we are about to give away a copy of both Unfinished Business and I'm looking for two. We're giving away two.
First one, I've been watching this guy, right? You, sir. Yes, you. Yes, I've been watching you. And then where's my anniversary couple? Who's the anniversary couple? My anniversary couple, you guys were married on May the 4th? 2013? Perfect, okay, so we got two contestants here. Don't worry, teams. Oh, they want to pay you for it.
You can pay for it at booth 1553.
There you go! Woo! Okay. I got you next time.
How about me? Get me.
Thank you. All right, now we're going to move on to Star Wars.
Woo! Star Wars Legion.
I'm sorry, it's been a long time since we've done panels or conventions, so you being the head of studio that produces this game, how good does it feel to hear that kind of pop from the audience when
Woo!
your game comes out?
Absolutely terrifying.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to assume you're going to ask me to talk about this fighting game.
I was.
Oh, yeah. So, Star Wars Legion. It is a copy miniatures game. It is set in Star Wars Galaxy. If you are into assembling your own awesome stormtroopers, rebels, painting them up, fighting your friend for domination, this is the situation for you. It is great to be able to do at home, because you can spend all that time painting.
Woo!
People have really latched onto it even more during the pandemic, because we could all get together and play games, but we could prepare ourselves by painting and hobbying and kind of, then when we're all back together, we able to play with each other.
I'm sorry, the things from the audience are amazing. Do you have anything that's coming up in Star Wars Legion? Any news that you may want to
Woo! Yum yum! Woo! Ewoks! Ewoks!
Okay, maybe National Show is on it, or maybe I'll just say things. I don't remember what's on it.
Ahsoka! Tactical rocks.
So, I may have made this fairly obvious if you've been by the booth, and our lovely creative director, Dallas Kemp, hand drew and painted a little Yodnut sign for me. But yes, after this very panel, we're going to go downstairs, I mean, not all together. Dallas and I are going to go downstairs, we're going to put some Ewoks in the display for everybody to check out.
Woo! All right.
Said Ewoks are coming, but really, they're here at the show. They're not going to be here for you in Legion for quite some time. I know any of you that kind of know about Atomic Mass, our lead times are amazingly long. Like, a good example, I worked on Unfinished Business. I haven't had that job for a year and a half. So they're coming. I did want to bring them here so you could see them. These are our beautiful Ewoks. One thing that I kind of want to talk about them is, number one, I mean, just look at those miniatures and look at the life in all of these adorable little Ewoks, not hers. I'll talk you through some dev stuff. Okay. Rebel mercenaries. What is most kind of important about Ewoks is, when you think of Ewoks, yes, you're thinking of Wicket, you're thinking of Logray, but you're really thinking of just a band of Ewoks taking on stormtroopers. So they're going to have the largest unit number in Legion.
Nice.
Their whole thing is about just getting together and setting ambushes and all this kind of stuff. Obviously, they're not going to do well against heavy machinery and weapons because they're Ewoks. And then kind of to talk to the sculpting and the art of all of these. This has been a passion project around the studio. We have very strong feelings about Ewoks. Our sculpting team we had an art piece that would be in the game later, which unfortunately we could not show you because it is not ready yet. But our artist created a maquette so he could get all of these Ewoks right. So this has just been an amazing time for all of us. And Ewoks, the other thing I will say about Ewoks, I expect that to happen, thank you. They will have Battle Force, so that would be cool, but we'll have Battle Force rules and not silly. They will have Battle Force rules, so you can live your best return of the Jedi box.
Woo! C-3PO! Oh my god.
Simone, would you like to give copies of Star Wars Legion?
Woo! Shadow Collective!
So, Red Saber in the back. Red Saber, come on down.
Oh, is this the core set? Oh, you want
How many do we take?
We're giving away 2 of the normal core set and then 2 of the Clone Wars expansion.
I gotta give some love to the back. Yellow, White Saber, White Saber. Very good. Okay, very good. Let's see here. Bearded Pilot, come on down. And you with the Jabba the Hutt plushie thing, whatever that is, come on down. Congratulations. Okay, your prize is right over there. This guy's looking for a fight.
You have to duel for it.
So,
Thank you. Simone, let's stay with Ethan for a second. Any other cool things that maybe...
Ahsoka! Shadow Collective!
It's okay if you don't have anything else to share. We can move on. I just thought...
Gungans!
I think that if you want to learn more things that are going to be in Legion, you should join us for Mini Extravaganza, June 9th through 11th on Twitch. Talk about things.
Woo!
congratulations to all our winners and back to your seats. Thanks so much.
But now we do have more stuff.
Oh no.
I do, but I also have to do a plug, friends. Come on. So we have also talked in the past at Mini Extravaganza about bringing the Mandalorian and Grogu to the game.
Oh! Oh, okay. All right. All right.
What I can tell you about these fine individuals is that Din is going to be the first mercenary available to the rebels. What we really wanted to capture with him is that whole gunslinger feeling. So you're really going to feel that in the miniature.
He's furry.
Feel that. Don't distract me. So you're going to feel that in the mini. And of course, he is going to be joined by Grogu. So a cool thing about Grogu in this is he is going to be able to protect your allies, but should Din fall in battle, your enemy might be able to get control of him, and who knows what will happen then. And in terms of just creating these, obviously, these are a labor of love, and we spent so much time getting, Grogu is 15 millimeters. And the amount of time that I spent like, oh, could you just the ears, just a little more? He's like 90% ears, so it has just been such an amazing time to kind of work on this thing that we're all so in love with, especially with tiny little Grogu.
I want to talk a little bit about how much work and detail goes into making the miniature look authentic to Star Wars, and then that will lead me back to Brian and Sherry. Can you talk a little bit about what things you look for when you are reviewing, little murder bears who are going to be?
It wasn't me.
I was going to say it at some point.
I mean,
So a lot of what goes into, I guess, reviewing the amazing work that the engineers do on plastic in the first place is looking at many, many references of the characters, rewatching the shows, and trying to work out what details are basically required to make this character that character and feel on the battlefield, and what maybe the plastic doesn't allow for that you might have to set aside.
And what's really important to me from the Lucasfilm side is the integrity of the characters and maintaining them. The characters really feel like the characters. It helps bring the experience across. I remember we spent an inordinate amount of time on the Ewoks and Grogu for as short as he is. The percentage of the time that we spent on him was just insanely large. Getting those characters right and making them feel like they're the real Star Wars characters. The experience of Star Wars in the game.
The smaller the character, the bigger we have to make them feel.
Oh.
Sherry with the heart-warming quote.
I was all ears.
Grogu and Mandalorian are essentially the flagship characters of the Star Wars franchise in a lot of ways right now. Before moving on, I'm curious, compared to the Ewoks, was there a little bit greater pressure in order to get those miniatures right?
oh, that's interesting. They are the flagship, so from this side of the panel, yes. Good Ewoks friends. Ewoks.
Thanks. Let's move on to another game that people may
That's swing.
So when I think they were your game, what can you tell us about upcoming details for Star Wars next week?
Can I just talk about how it was my first baby?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, X-Wing. So one of the things that is a big focus for us at Podcast in kind of taking the massive amount of X-Wing that is out there is to kind of figure out how we can get new players into it and how we can kind of ease this experience somewhat. The deeper you get into X-Wing, you have your ship card, you've got upgrades, you've got kind of all of this stuff happening at once, and it's super super important to me as head of studio to make sure that we are making that entry level much easier once again. One of the things that we also are trying to focus on is bringing that really thematic experience back. So we're actually, I get to announce that we're doing a Gavin scenario pack. So no ships in this one. This is cards. The goal here is to let you relive your Yavin experience. One of the things that I'm so excited about for this one is our senior graphic designer, Ryan Ritter, was able to make these standard loadout cards. We've done a little of that in OP before, but so instead of having like 3 or 4 cards in front of you when you're trying to figure out, build your squad and everything, this is one card that has the ship fully loaded out. It gives the opportunity to, A, ease new players because you're not trying to juggle all of this information, but also to let us give really specific versions of those characters. So it's going to have your upgrades is going to kind of have everything thematically tied together on one card. So we're going to have all of these, and it really lets us bring in those characters that participated in all of these battles. And I think it's a super cool product, and I'm hoping that we can do more of this kind of stuff in the future.
The Untitled Chapter was an active battle of Yavin.
I've been waiting to do this because I like this question.
I don't like it, I can tell already.
So this is cool to me because what we're talking about is playing Star Wars ships, but your job is to
My office shares a wall. It's bad because I get to hear their excitement, but I also get to hear their excitement. So if the people who are developing it are not super energized by the things that are happening on the table, then you all are not going to be excited and energized by them. So for us, it's a lot of just, is this fun? It's one thing to have a Star Wars experience. It is another thing to have, when you have that Star Wars experience that is fun and you feel it here, that just gives you all a better experience. So I'm just going to say a lot of having fun.
Woo!
Brian and Carrie, I imagine this leads to the best kind of nerdy business discussions that you have. Can you tell us a little bit more about what those conversations look like between you two in particular when you're reviewing the product?
Well, as you can imagine, ships require a lot of attention to detail, especially with the paints on them.
Please do our
A lot of the time we're talking about the most minute things or parts of the ship.
And for X-Wing, for me, there's an insane amount of pressure to get things right because there's so many people at Lucasfilm that play this game, including my boss, who entrusted me with the licensee. My background is in toy design. I can't claim to be a game designer. It's definitely a very different specialty. And when he got too busy to handle the Asmodee and something during at that time, he started feeding it to me. Okay, you can look at the sculpts and you can talk about those and you can handle that.
So he loves it and he didn't want to give it up.
He did not want to give it up. And when he finally did give it up to me, he was like, "Don't mess this up." So I paid a lot of attention to the things that happened. Sherry mentioned back on the designers and the engineering of this stuff because when you see something that's designed so well, and it plays naturally, you never think about the design that goes into something. But when you have a ship that it falls off the thing or something doesn't go together well or it doesn't look right, then the first thing in your mind is like, who's designed this? What did he get designed? You know, so the fact that he's just look and play and feel so natural is a true credit to the designers that are working on it.
All right. Woo!
While the Battle of the Avon is not released yet, someone would you like to win copies of X-Wing maybe?
Well, I had a young lady who came down who didn't get her prize. Didn't get her a prize. The one with the little Java plush. She came down. Yes, let's give her one right there. I did pick her earlier. I unfortunately picked too many people for that battle. I'm gonna do this guy with the helmet, my pilot right here, with the helmet up in the air. Let's give him one as well.
I see what you did, the pilot of X-Wing.
Yeah, I mean, he needs the research. Okay.
Simone, we're nearing the end of the panel. You also brought the Star Wars celebration. Everyone's gonna love you at the end of this, and really 1,000 people will follow you back to the booth now. But you brought another gift for everyone at Star Wars Celebration.
Woo!
I would say that you were trying to win something, but you really,
already have
really did bring a lot of things with you to this convention.
Armada! Thank you!
You will take your tickets to booth 1553 after the panel, and it's there that you will be able to get this amazing Darth Maul spreading.
Nice.
Well, we have about 11 minutes left, so it's probably a good time to open it up to Q&A.
Okay. So if we're gonna do Q&A, what we do right here, somebody's doing. I'm gonna stand right here. You can queue up right here. If you have a question. Can I hear bring back Star Wars Destiny Day? Have a question? Okay, here we go. First question.
Are there any new expansions for Imperial Assault coming?
I'm gonna say we, because I was fantasy playing at that time. We did say that, that wasn't the case. I know, I'm sorry.
But drove you.
Okay, next question.
How y'all doing? Where is the X-Wing First Order love?
Where is my first order first?
It's my company.
We have done, Ryan, I feel like we've done everything.
No, we need daggers. We need daggers.
You
We need them.
daggers, we need them.
No, I need them. I need a rifle, and I need a TIE dagger.
Maybe one day you will be living your best life.
Okay, we'll see.
Thank you so much. Next question.
Hi there, you know I'm going to ask about Star Wars Armada, and but I guess my question is, with Rapid Reinforcements 1, which is a great, awesome release, since it has the number 1 at the end, should fans expect the possibility for additional Rapid Reinforcements releases, or should we wait for an extravaganza?
I think anything is possible, but please.
Wait, sir, come here, something about you I can't quite place. Step a little bit closer. Who's this?
Crabbok!
Tim, or otherwise, yeah. And by the way, if you have any new Armada stuff you'd like to give away, thank you so much.
Wonderful. Next question.
Hi guys, how are you doing today? Doing well. So, on the Armada, are we going to see any Resistance or First Order expansions?
Okay, my friends, if you're in this line and asking about Armada, my answer is, I have nothing more to say about Armada. Okay?
But Simone, it does have something for you, sir, since you're apparently the last Armada question. I would love for you to come up to the stage and take home a Super Star Destroyer. What?
Wow. Wow.
You can go home now. Okay, so nada about Armada. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Nada about Armada. Anyway, okay, I have a
Wow.
game-making practical question. In the world of video games, a lot of devs are getting very excited about making things more accessible to players with disabilities. Tabletop games have a whole host of different accessibility challenges. Just curious, like how is Asmodee and Atomic Mass games like kind of working to make that whole field work for players who want to games but might have had trouble at this point because of accessibility reasons?
So we try our best, definitely for colorblind accessibility. Obviously, a lot of things in games are based on some sort of combination of color and symbol. That's kind of in the tabletop space where I think that we've done the most work and kind of go through the files and kind of make sure everything. Even things like just making sure the print is big enough is definitely something, but we do have to squeeze everything on those little itty bitty parts. So that's the biggest part. I don't know that there's anything else. Do you have anything?
No, those are probably the biggest things we do. I mean, reducing hard text on cards is obviously good for everybody because you have less to sift through, but especially for people with eyesight that's not as great, it's definitely a boom there.
This is a great question.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next question.
First, I just want to say thank you for unfinished business, namely giving us a condo. So the follow-up then is, can we maybe expect a second expansion with, say, M-mode?
I can't speak to anything about future products right now, unfortunately.
Okay, well,
They're
thank
always
you.
in motion.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much for answering questions. We really appreciate it. So, what were the factors that led to the decision to cancel Star Wars Destiny? And a quick follow-up, with the cancellation of Star Wars Destiny, have you resolved those problems, and when can we expect the next release?
Woo! Interesting.
That is not something that we're really, that we're going to be able to discuss.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So when's it coming out? No. Okay. All right, thank you.
Seems to be a common theme. Here we go. Keep coming. Here we go.
Good try, man. You know you gotta try. You gotta take a shot.
We really enjoy playing with the science, but we're both very big Jawa fans, and they're putting up a lot more in current media now, in Mandalorian now, other stuff. And so, will there be a Jawa expansion perhaps? As a question mark?
If I may, I think with 5 minutes left, this is a great opportunity for you to tell the audience a little bit more about Mini Extravaganza, because who knows what you will or will not announce.
So, Atomic Mass Games, we do a thing twice a year where we live stream for 12 hours a day for 3 days straight. You're going to see us paint, you're going to see us hobby, you're going to see us play games. You're also going to get all sorts of announcements sprinkled through that whole experience. And yeah, we dropped things. That's where we said we were going to do Din. That's where we had mentioned Ewoks in the past. So that was a great place. You can catch us on Twitch at Atomic Mass Games. And that is June 9th through 11th.
I was just wondering if you had any information on Star Wars role-playing game?
Well, at this time, we're in reprint mode, so trying to get the existing products out there, and just keep an eye on Ed Studio's website.
More dice. More dice. More dice.
We're working on this.
Adding maybe the most popular and by far the best expanded universe character, Star Killer, into Legion.
Ooh, that's a good one. Is
You're going to get tired of me plugging Mini Extravaganza. You can find more information about everything Star Wars Legion.
is Sam Whitwer here? He could talk about that.
I actually had my questions going about the RPGs, so thanks for everything you do. And more EU Legion characters, please.
how do you approach the challenges of having a lot of eras of Star Wars, having a lot of different kinds of characters that are in different kind of places in the universe, trying to make games that let players approach as big of a kind of universe from different places they want, but still feel Star Wars, and some other systems are really flexible and some aren't.
So to approach that mechanically, you have to spend a lot of time thinking about interactions between characters and would this person have ever been able to fight this particular person? Do you have Anakin, and then do you later have Darth Vader? Can you have them on the same side? Brian Merton will tell you immediately no. I will tell you immediately no. Oh, I forgot. But then kind of on the more creative kind of big brand side is digging into all of everything that's out there and just consuming the media over and over until you find a way to fit the character that you love the most, like me asking for Hanzo and Napi in every single thing that there's ever
For the eyes, boo.
Hi. Are there any more Republic ships planned? This is Republic Club.
Once again, my darling. Catch us on Twitch. Comcast games.
Hi. I've noticed that in tabletop RPGs, falling to the dark side seems to be treated as a failure. So.
Material for life!
I just want to address this for some people I'm affiliated with. We are wondering if possibly Force of Destiny might be seeing any dark side supports anytime soon, any new texts.
Cannot speak to that. Can't speak to it at this time.
Hey, we're in conflict.
Thank you for it.
I support you.
15 conflict. Wonderful. Come on now.
Hi, Star Wars Rebellion is my favorite game.
Woo! Yes!
The strategy involved is just incredible, and I was wondering if you guys have ever thought about doing a game like that in another era, say.
Woo! Oh, yes! Woo! Yes!
I can't speak about anything at this point, but that sounds cool.
Oh, yeah, good.
Okay, this is our last question, unfortunately. We have 1 minute left.
Okay, so I really like board games, but I really love TCG, so what are you playing for that?
Can't speak about any new product. Sorry, everyone.
One more time, let's give it up for our panel, everybody. Appreciate everybody coming.
That's gonna do it.